It takes hours of driving down rugged gravel tracks to get to the remote community of Yakanara in northern Western Australia. It's a cluster of homes on a cattle station on the edge of the Great Sandy Desert. We're here to meet a Walmatjarri elder with an unusual namesake.
My name is Bing Crosby, backpala name Podo, and born in old age in Tarawan. Yeah, I got my mother in Taramap.
When Bing Crosby was born in 1949, his parents were among generations of Aboriginal people who'd come in from the desert and were working on cattle stations. They gave him a Walmatjarri name, Buru. But as was common practice at the time, the white station managers ignored it and soon assigned him a new name, the name of someone famous.
He's the eldest, and they gave him name Bing Crosby.
It was decades before Bing realised there was another Bing Crosby, the American crooner best known for White Christmas. Bing's niece, Annette Coglow, is using government welfare files to piece together their family tree, one that's peppered with the names of Hollywood stars and European fascists.
Most of the people are Walmatjarri people. The name stood out was Shirley Temple, who I understand was Bing's mum. Her Aboriginal name was Murra. And there was another lady that I know named after a famous actress, Dorothy Lamour.
While Bing and his mother were named after much-loved celebrities, other Aboriginal elders were saddled with the names of the worst mass murderers of the 20th century. One was named Hitler, another Mussolini, and just a few doors up, Annette takes us to meet the family of a man named Stalin.
This is a photo of my dad. In loving remembrance of Stalin warrior, the manager gave him the name Stalin. And that was the name he lived with, from there on. I heard about that bloke from Russia was named Stalin, Russian bloke. He was a bit of a cruelty bloke or something like that. But the old man didn't know who was that bloke was. He was just given that name, Or they never been in the school or, that station manager just gave him that name. And
Brian's father died in 2009.
that's my dad when he was there at that big painting up at Penini.
But the name Stalin didn't die with him. Before they realised its origin, the family had passed the moniker on to a grandson and a great-grandson.
They didn't know what to give them a name because they didn't have Aboriginal name to give them. But from the family side, I said, we'll just put after the old man, Put my name after my grandfather.
While people like Bing and Stalin don't appear to have been bothered by their names, Annette says the practice was degrading.
I just don't understand why these names were given to these people. Maybe because they just made fun and say, I know a famous name. Maybe I could just give this person this name.
Like a joke?
Yeah, like a joke.
To her, they symbolise ownership and control.
I think it's similar to the slave plantation time in America. Similar. How our people were treated. Not even many stories were captured like that, but they were just told and passed on.
The word slavery isn't often used in an Australian context. It's well documented that Indigenous people were abducted and forced to work as part of a practice known as blackbirding. But many argue the working conditions on cattle stations also constituted a type of slavery. Many people were paid only in rations, could be arrested for leaving the property, and were stripped of personal freedoms, such as the right to name and raise their child.
We also know that some pastoralists would trade workers for other workers. So that to me is as if you are living under an occupation, as if you are living as a slave. It was a form of indentured labour. It was a means by which a population were controlled. And in that sense, it can be considered, and that's why many Aboriginal people who experienced it call it slavery.
The names remain as a relic of frontier pastoralism that's within living memory. Some families are reclaiming their Aboriginal names, discarding the station names they inherited. Bing Crosby reckons he's happy the way things are, proud to be now the oldest person in Yakanara. Erin Park, ABC News in the Fitzroy Valley.